in today's creativity yoga flow, we are going to be focusing on releasing some emotions. So as creatives, as writers, we need to be able to get our emotions and our feelings out into the world or on the page. We can't be just holding on to them all the time. So we're gonna work through a couple of poses, a little flow that will help you release some of those emotions in a safe space. So you might even be by yourself at the moment and not in the middle of a big yoga class. So environments like this, when you feel at home and comfortable in your own environment, are great opportunities to release some emotion and be more able to be vulnerable on the page or on the canvas. So we're actually going to go ahead and start in a seated position today. You can start cross-legged. You can start with your legs out in front of you if you'd like, if cross-legged's a little difficult. We're just gonna find a nice comfortable seat. Start to come into the breath. Find our center, connect with our bodies, let go of anything happening off the mat before or after this practice today. Just take a nice big inhale through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Maybe with each sigh, letting your shoulders fall away from the ears. Actually, let's try that for a minute. When we inhale, we'll lift the shoulders up toward the ears, something we don't normally like to do, but we'll inhale, lift the shoulders up, maybe tighten, and exhale to release. Let them fall, let them drop. Try that a couple more times. Inhale, lift the shoulders, tighten, and exhale. Release, let them fall. One more time, inhale. And exhale, release. This time let your hands fall anywhere that feels comfortable, whether that's by the side or to the knees. Take one more inhale. Gentle inhale now through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Remembering that you are in a safe space, a safe environment. So if, as we're moving through some of these poses, you do feel some emotions come up, it's okay. And if you don't, that's okay too. Just enjoy the stretch, enjoy the pose. Continue to breathe. And as we continue to breathe and bring our focus inward to the breath, just going to shift the feet a little bit here so that we're starting out in a bound angle pose. So we're going to just push the soles of our feet together. And if that's difficult, if you need a little more space, you can always move the feet farther away from the body. And if you need a little more of a stretch, you can just bring them closer. Now your knees might not come down very far. Mine certainly do not. As you get more open through the hips and the legs and other areas, your knees might fall closer to the ground. If you want some blocks to kind of support you, you can, but we won't be here very long right at the moment. We're just gonna you can grab the ankles maybe for a little support, or the shins, wherever. Just gonna relax here for just a couple of breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. As we start to pay attention to our alignment, when we're sitting kind of like this, we definitely want to be actively sitting, paying attention to that head over heart, heart over pelvis alignment. So we're not hunched forward or kind of to the side. We're inviting length into the spine. Can always pretend there's a string at the top of our heads and that's lifting up toward the ceiling to invite some length into the neck. Now already this might start to feel a little unnatural because we don't often sit this actively throughout the day. It is a good idea to try though if you're ever feeling a little sluggish. Just try sitting a little more actively. Paying attention to the posture. Maybe inviting a little smile. Letting the shoulders fall away from the ears with each breath. Inhale one more time through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth, sighing it out. And from here, we'll come back to this pose toward the end of our practice. But for now, we'll come slowly and mindfully into tabletop position, all fours. We're gonna start to move through some cat-cow. So just finding your base, stacking the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, pressing all 10 fingers into the mat, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. And we'll start to move with the breath. Inhale to lift the chin away from the chest, pull the shoulders away from the ears, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, almost like you're trying to get it to touch the back of the head. And exhale, round the back, drop the chin to the chest. Now we're lifting the pelvis almost toward the front of the mat, just the direction, obviously. And then inhale, lift the chin, drop the belly, starting to move with your own breath at your own pace. And with each exhale, maybe imagining just letting something go. Even if you don't know exactly what that is, just give yourself permission to let go of anything you're holding on to. Anything that might not be sitting right or might be sitting heavy in your gut. Just let it go with each exhale. Just moving with the pace of your breath, whatever feels natural. If one pose feels better than the other, you can stay there for a couple of breaths. A couple more times. Maybe even out your rotation here. Maybe hold one pose for just a couple of breaths. And we'll meet back in a neutral spine wherever you are. Finish out your round and come back to neutral. Long spine. And the next inhale, we'll tuck our toes and actually pull our knees up away from the mat. We're gonna hover here for just a second, pressing the toes and the hands into the mat. And on an exhale, lifting the hips up and back into a downward dog. You can keep your knees as bent as you need here for this first one. I don't have many in this particular flow. Pushing the tailbone up toward the sky, keeping the knees nice and bent, heels toward the mat, they don't have to touch. Inhale, and a nice big exhale. The next inhale, we'll bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, and exhale. Walk the feet forward, up between the hands, releasing into a forward fold. The knees can be really, really bent here. Inhale, half flat back, hands to shins or thighs, creating a 7-ish shape with the body. Exhale, fold. And inhale, reaching for the sky. Straightening, standing tall. Exhale, drop the hands down through center. Releasing them to the side. And on the next inhale, we'll keep moving. We're just gonna reach the arms up and drop the hips back on an exhale into chair pose, pressing the hips toward the back of the mat, bending at the knees. Breathing, placing the weight into the heels so you can almost lift your toes. Keeping the shoulders down away from the ears still. Maybe creating some space in the hand with the arms. So if we are holding in a motion, we're gonna be tempted to kind of have things really close and closed off. Allow yourself to just hold some space here. Exhale, maybe sink a little deeper into the pose. And on the next inhale, we'll reach the arms forward a little bit more so the hands touch now. And exhale, twist to the right, bringing the left elbow toward the right knee, though it doesn't even have to get close, trying to keep those knees even. So you might not twist very far if you're trying to keep those knees even, but that's okay. Inhale back to center, reaching the arms forward. And exhale, twisting to the other side, right elbow toward that left knee, keeping the knees even. And inhale back to center. Do that one more time. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. And exhale, straighten through the legs, letting the hands fall to the side. We'll keep it moving. We're gonna move through a full sun salutation. So we'll inhale, reach for the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Letting the hands drop to the mat, releasing into the fold. Maybe the legs are a little straighter here than they were earlier, maybe not. Inhale, half flat back, whatever that looks like to you. Exhale to drop the hands to the mat on either side of the feet, stepping the right foot back and then the left, briefly into plank pose. Inhale at the top. Exhale, release the chest and the belly to the mat, lowering everything. Inhale, baby cobra, tucking the elbows in toward the body, lifting the chin and the chest. Exhale, release. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, pushing up, either through plank or all fours. And then all the way back into downward dog. Take a nice inhale here. Exhale. I'm gonna pause here for just a moment. So make sure you're supported, pressing all 10 fingers into the mat, trying to take the weight off of your wrists, lifting the hips up and back to really invite some length into the spine. Dropping the heels toward the mat. Just breathing, inhale. Maybe nodding your head, yes, on the exhale. Shaking it no. Releasing something, anything. Inhale. And then on the next exhale, we'll just let the knees drop to the mat. Untuck the toes. And I'm coming back into your choice of child's pose. So it can be traditional with the knees together and the arms at the sides. Letting your head fall to the mat, forehead resting on the mat or wherever it falls. Or you can go for extended child's pose. So knees open as wide as the mat. Arms stretched out in front of you. And wherever you are, just breathe. Inhaling through the nose. With each exhale, just relax into the pose a little bit more. Releasing something if you notice tension anywhere. letting it release with each exhale. Just take a few breaths here. If you do feel like we're holding anything, sometimes we can feel that in the chest. This open child's pose maybe is a little more beneficial if we feel like our chest is a little closed off, or if we're holding emotions in the chest. This sometimes can feel a little too constricting. So maybe giving yourself space, really stretching the arms forward, the fingertips toward the top of the mat, stretching through the chest and the shoulders. One more giant inhale. And sigh it out. Release. And then we're just gonna walk our way up one more time into all fours. So just adjusting so you're back in alignment in tabletop. We're gonna tuck the toes. And we're gonna come into a yogi squat from right here. So it might mean just kind of lifting your knees up off the mat and slowly walking your feet forward to the outsides of the hands. So almost to the edge of the mat. Even if you're kind of rocking back and forth here, whatever it looks like to you. Just eventually coming up, and I'm gonna face you guys so you can see and stay where you are. Into a yogi squat, so you can rock your way into the squat and eventually letting your heels fall, letting your bum fall toward the earth, lifting your hands to wherever feels comfortable. Inhale and exhale. If a squat and just staying here is not comfortable, you can just continue to froggy the legs back and forth. Rocking from heel to heel, foot to foot. Or you can find some stillness in this malasana or yogi squat. Trying to keep the back as straight as you can. Maybe using the elbows to push the hips open a little bit, unless that's uncomfortable. Just finding whatever works for you. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Again, releasing anything. We do tend to hold a lot of emotion through our hips. So as we stretch them, especially in a pose like this, that's very, very vulnerable. We might feel that all start to release, and that's okay. Give yourself permission to let that happen. And after a few breaths, all we're gonna do, we're gonna move to our bum. So all you do is maybe need to reach behind you, give yourself a little cushion with the hands, and just drop to the bum. I'm gonna shift back this way. And then we're gonna come into, so you can stay upright here, knees kind of bent in front of us. We're gonna come into a seated pigeon. So we're gonna take that right foot, lift it up over that left leg, onto the left thigh. Wherever it falls kind of naturally is okay. And then using the hands behind us for a little bit of balance, we'll just move this foot up, the left foot, kind of up toward the body, depending on how much of a stretch we need. So the closer you pull it to the body, the more of a stretch you're gonna get in this right hip. Keeping that right foot flexed will help protect that right knee. If there is any pain in the right knee, come on out of the stretch a little bit, walk the left foot forward or toward the front of the mat. If you need more of a stretch, bring it back toward the body. And then just pulling that right knee kind of away from the body, as long as there's no pain, will help get a little bit of a stretch. Pigeon pose is a great way to kind of release emotion. But regular pigeon can be really challenging. I like the seated or reclined versions. making sure to breathe. If you do kind of reach your edge with this left foot, if it's kind of as close to the body as it's going to get and you want to kind of play with your edge, you can just lift that left foot right up the mat a little bit, and that's going to pull that right leg closer to the body and release. So you can play here with the stretch as long as there's no pain. Stretching is okay. Like a sharp pain, not good. So if anything is sharp or makes you go or kind of gasp like that, come out of the pose. But obviously a little stretch is good. It might be a little uncomfortable. Progress is, but, and then whenever you're ready, maybe slowly work your way out of the pose, moving the left foot forward a little bit, unbending that left knee, lifting the right arm up, or right leg up off that left leg, and just moving to the other side. So we'll take that left foot up to that right knee, and you might notice that one side is very different from the other. You might be able to get, you know, deeper into the stretch on one side than the other. It's totally normal. We tend to lean and work one side of the body a little more than the other most days, so your edge might be different on this side. Again, you can play, keep that right foot flexed. If there's any pain in that left knee, don't push it. Maybe lift that right foot. I feel that for sure. And let go. And lift. And let go. Or just find stillness here. Inhale. And exhale. Playing with your edge, meeting your edge. And whenever you're ready, releasing the leg, releasing the foot. And then we are going to come into that bound angle pose again. So bringing the feet together, toes meeting toes, heels meeting heels, letting the knees fall open. Depending on what feels comfortable, you can move your feet away from your body or up closer to the body. I'll go ahead and face you for this. And you might notice that now versus when we started, might be a little more open. Your knees might fall a little more open, might have a little more flexibility in where your feet are. Or maybe not, and that's okay too. So we'll just come here. We're gonna pause here for a moment to inhale and exhale. And we can maybe even play with a twist here. So we'll take the right arm, kind of reach it behind us and bring that left hand to that right knee. Letting the knees stay open and fall open rather than pulling on it to pull into the stretch. We'll reach behind us with that right hand, maybe gazing over that right shoulder. Inhale to invite some length into the spine, and exhale, looking out over that right shoulder, twisting a little deeper. One more inhale. And exhale. And go ahead and release and bring it to the other side. Inhale, reach the right hand to that left knee, left arm comes behind us. Inhale. And exhale into the twist. Inhale. And exhale. and then coming out. Actually going to go ahead and keep our legs in where they are. I'm gonna shift a little bit here because then we're just gonna recline. With our legs where they are, just work our way to our back so you can come to your elbows first. Slowly supporting your body as you move onto your back and then leaving it's gonna be tempting to let the feet fall apart here, try to keep the feet together. Even if it means your legs don't open or your knees don't open to the mat. If you'd like to get some blocks or something to support your knees, a blanket, a pillow, you can do that. And then you can spend a few moments here, a few breaths, taking deep breaths in through the nose again and sighing out through the mouth, releasing any tension throughout the body. Noticing if you feel any different now than you did at the beginning of our flow. When you're ready, if you'd like, you can stretch the legs out in front of you and give yourself a few moments in Shavasana or corpse pose, or you can take the energy we've just cultivated, we just built, we just got flowing, and you can see if you've released anything that allows you to be a little more vulnerable on the page or in your creative project. So you can grab a prompt from the end of this video to maybe inspire new ideas and then go try creating and see how you feel. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste, warriors. Now go fight for your creativity. Great flow, warriors. Now it's time to take that energy and create. If you still need a little extra inspiration, just grab a creativity prompt to get the ideas flowing. And if you have a friend who's also fighting writer's block, make sure to share this video and don't forget to subscribe. Now go fight for your creativity.